Welcome to this Armada podcast sponsored by SPX Communication Technologies with your host Tom Withington at the controls. As multi-domain operations evolve, the need for robust and capable networking will only deepen. All communication systems have their costs and benefits. Knitting together these disparate capabilities can be a challenge, as can ensuring they survive the rigors of battle. What are the problems the military communications community face and how can these be overcome? I'm joined today by David Robbins, Business Development Director for Data Links at SPX Communication Technologies, to discuss these questions. David, a warm welcome to the podcast.
Hi Tom, thank you for having me.
So the movement of data around the battle space can be a vexing problem for armed forces. What are the key challenges in this regard and how can these be surmounted?
Absolutely. So what we're seeing from our customers and the users of this equipment is that in battlefield operations, people are looking to continue having a robust and reliable data link, but they're also looking for more flexibility, and they're putting more of these kind of transmission systems into these airborne platforms in their environment to bolster their ConOps, concept of operations. So what we're seeing is that different use cases, or what we call scenarios, demand different types of technology platforms to be able to deliver the output that you need. So if you're protecting borders, so with what's going on in Eastern Europe at the moment, or if you're patrolling the South China Sea, the infrastructure isn't there from day dot to be able to do this successfully to give you the results that you need. So it needs to be acquired in, or purchased in, or hired in. And because of that, it means that a lot of these different airborne platforms are having to manage multiple different technology platforms or different bearers, and that is becoming a little bit more difficult for them to manage. So what we're seeing at the moment is, although the absolute drive for this security of these borders and these different applications is there, the management of that technology is becoming more difficult to the customers.
The movement of data around the battle space can be a vexing problem for armed forces. What are the key challenges in this regard and how can these be surmounted?
That's absolutely right. So what we're seeing is that within the battlefield environment, there are a number of different scenarios that need to be catered for. And it's become more and more evident that one solution does not fit all. So where we have airborne applications at the moment that take advantage of different types of bearers or technology, and that could be data link in its true COFDM form, satellite communications now with the Starlink capabilities, whether it be mesh or cellular capabilities. These are becoming more and more frequent on the airborne platforms, but it's the management of those which is causing our customers the frustration. So across battlefield and across security, we are starting to see that in these different scenarios, data links still hold their value as the primary provider of that robust and reliable data of video and audio and IP connectivity. But where there is these applications and need to use these different forms of technology, as mentioned, the meshes and the SATCOMs of these world that are now becoming more readily available, they fit some purposes and different scenarios. So if we give a couple of examples of the conflicts we're seeing within the world at the moment, we should say we've got the borders of Eastern Europe and everything that's going there. Now, the topography and geography allows the airborne assets to be able to patrol and monitor, but the way that they want to get that information back to base from a ConOps point of view, that varies. Again, primary is going to be the data link, but there will be some occasions where the data link just isn't available and other technologies are formed. We're also seeing that in the patrolling of the South China Sea, where there's a heightened tensions within that region. Different technology platforms and different bearers are being used across these airborne and ground receive platforms, and they're not common across all of these aircraft. So this is causing a number of different frustrations for our customers in terms of how do they manage each of these. We're also seeing that each of these different solutions that are out there have their pros and they have their cons, as we would expect. A lot of it is driven by cost. People are looking for kind of sometimes having a cheaper connectivity in some instances of their operations. But when reliability and the quality of data is absolutely key, there is still that need to divert back to that reliable data link that they have today. So they need to get that data to be as quality and reliable as possible to inform their decision making but they need to take that burden away from them in terms of managing these different transmission platforms on the aircraft.
So how is SPX Communication Technologies addressing these challenges? I mean, could you provide more details on some of the capabilities and solutions you've highlighted?
We have taken a look, and we are still going to provide the best of breed in terms of the data link platform. We still believe this is going to be the primary point of data transmission from these aircraft, which is still very valid and will be for some time to come. But we are going to also address the current state of our customers' needs. These frustrations that they're having on these aircraft and managing these different platforms, we have taken a view and we have listened to the voice of the customer, and we have now decided that we're going to move up the value chain for them. So we're going to turn into a managed service provider. So we're in effect going to manage multiple bearers and transmission platforms so our customers do not have to. Now, what that means for them is that the pilot can get on with piloting the aircraft. They've got a tough enough job as it is without having to worry about if they're using a SATCOM signal at this particular stage and when they should turn over to cellular and when they should use their downlink based on the topography or geography available to them. We take that burden from them and we automate that. It's the same as well on these aircraft and these payloads and the fuel consumption and everything else. They don't want to put additional people on there to manage this as well. So anything that can use the automation that we can offer going forward, where we can link these systems together to take the best of breed, to make it secure, to make it fast, to make it accurate, to make it applicable and safe for the airborne platforms. That is where we are working towards at the moment with our new product development. But I would say it's probably one step further than that. I would say it's a new identity. So we are now addressing that need to be a managed service provider in the air for our customers that have these struggles in the battlefield, in their ConOps, and also the security forces who are identifying with us on this as well.
Looking to the future, where do things go from here?
So it's very interesting. I think for the future, people are wanting to get many more capabilities in the air and on the ground than they have today. There is a hesitancy around how they do that. So we are going to try to lead with regards to this innovation and this thought process. And the way that we see this taking place, and again, we've had this from voice of the customer, is we are going to leverage the technology capabilities that are out there at the moment. So again, take the best of breed, take the transmission bearers and systems that are required by these customers at any given times, and we're going to add value to these. And also what we're going to do as well is we're going to look to introduce a capability into our product, which is led by artificial intelligence. Now that is a sticking point currently, because the use of artificial intelligence in the product set is of some concern within the military environment. And the reason being is because you can open source your data for the artificial intelligence, but what you do is you open up risks of hallucinations, they're called, or in effect, low accuracy. And you don't want to be putting low accuracy into a high contested, high important scenario. So the only way that you can improve on the development of this product and using AI in your system is to use the actual data and train your models on the data that are required for these different scenarios and these different operations. And to be able to get that data is very restrictive and difficult to get hold of because it's just not readily available because of the nature of it. So we're working with multiple different AI companies at the moment to evolve and develop our methodology and product beyond where we are as a data link provider, and then even beyond where we are as an airborne managed service provider. So we want to do more for our customers. We want to do it quickly, but we have to do it safely and we have to do it accurately. And this is where we see us leading as innovators going forward in this domain.
David, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your time.
If you'd like to learn more about SPX Communication Technologies and the company's expertise, please do visit their website at tcibr.com. That's all we have time for. Thanks very much for listening.